We have indeed. Oh, Plocrux. Okay, well that's cool, Plocrux. I'm happy the course above worked well for you. That's good to hear. I'm 2,400 with an engine and 1,000 without. Yeah, I know that feeling. Let's try not to use engines if we can. So let's have a look. Well, I haven't got any challenges in yet at the moment, I can see, unless I'm blind. And what's your rating, Atlanta? So all you have to do is just tell me your chess.com handle and your rating. Not too tricky. And well, it doesn't matter what your rating is over somewhere else where you're either. I just want to play a higher rated player if I can. Atlanta Gambit says he's 2050, which is a good rating. But you're not a sub, so I'd rather play someone who's sub to this channel. So it might have to be Jen's Chess again, as long as you let me play white Jen's Chess, because with the white pieces I can get the Jobava London system in. And Jen's Chess, you always come to the streams, and you've been watching these and being involved with these streams for a long time. So I would, if you want to play, I will play Jen's Chess first. If not, Atlanta Gambit, who is, well, it says his rating's 1,200 on this. Maybe he hasn't played any games. So, do you want to play Jen's Chess? Let me know. Otherwise, I'll probably just try to find someone a bit higher rated than, who we know can play. So we try to get decent gaming. And the idea of these long play games is that I basically have more time to explain the way I'm thinking as a grandmaster. So you can listen to the way I'm thinking, and hopefully you can pick up some good bits of advice from what I'm saying, and you can learn and you can pick up, you basically get a free lesson from a grandmaster. You get into the mind of a grandmaster. That would have been a much better title, wouldn't it? Get into the mind of a grandmaster, talking about clickbait. Rather than calling the longer play games, get in the mind of a grandmaster. Why didn't I call it that? I'll probably have another 10,000 subscribers on my YouTube channel if I did that. Oh. Okay, handle should be Jen's Chess X. So let's give you a game. But I'm gonna be white Jen's Chess so I can get my Jobava London, and I hope you don't mind that. So I'm going to challenge you now, Jen's Chess. And make sure you're logged into chess.com, please. And we will play 15 plus 10. And I'm going to take the white pieces so I can again give another lesson on the Jobava London. So I'm going to challenge you now. Think Grandmaster does. Yeah, that sounds much better, doesn't it? Or get into the mind of a Grandmaster. Wow, why didn't I think of that? Okay, so playing Jen's Chess. Now, again, the ratings of this doesn't really matter so much. One reason my rating is so low is because I've faced a couple of computers who had low ratings. They've taken my rating away. The most important thing, and people always moan, why is your rating so low? Bloody whiners, I hate them. And they're always saying, why is your opponent's rating so low? Go and sod off. Well, the idea of this, it doesn't matter. It's the ideas. And it is going to be now me discussing those ideas. Okay, I wonder who the tallest grandmaster is. You think Big Vlad the Slayer, Kramnik? What about Van Whaley? Must be a Dutch guy. Dutch guys are all tall. What about Van Whaley? Is he the tallest GM? I'm not the tallest GM by any means, no, but I am over 6 foot. Okay, so the London Jobava, we play knight c3, and we're going to wait and see what our opponent now plays. Now, I think Jen's Chess is a French defense player. I can't remember. And it's always good when you're playing chess if you have the knowledge on your opponents, because if you know what your opponent's repertoire is, you have a good idea. You can prepare. You can try to trick them out in the opening. You don't really ever want to play into your opponent's hands and play an opening that they're really used to playing. You want to try to get them into something they're not comfortable with. Okay, so Jen's Chess has now played c5, which is a bit of a sideline. Now, I stick to what I suggest above. I think that's fair. And what I suggest above, and this is something new, which I've only done in this course, to keep it simple for you guys, is when they play c5 early on, and this is without them playing d5. So when they go c5 without moving this pawn here, I'm suggesting you take on c5. And in the Jobava London system, you often capture this pawn. And in the DVD above, I've given many examples where you just take this pawn. So again, you're prepared. If you buy the course there, you are prepared against everything. I mean, the thing with this course I do like, and I'm being totally honest now, is it's easy to learn, but it will last you a lifetime. You know, it's an opening you'll have forever. So it's not something like some other openings. They might change because of theory, but not the London Jobava. Okay. Fine gold like your Halloween mask. Okay. Well, I might be putting it on again. Should get him one of me, really, shouldn't we? Should get fine gold a GingerGM. We can swap faces. That's maybe what we should do for our next grudge match. Swap faces. Okay, so this is an okay move for my opponent. Now there was a slight problem. If my opponent had gone, I'll talk about other options after the game, but if he had played bishop takes there, I actually had the very strong move knight e4, and if you catched one of my earlier streams, you would have known that this idea of meeting bishop takes with knight e4 is better for white. Now, what is the idea of me taking on c5? Now, the other good move I could have played, and again I'll talk about alternative options after the game when we analyze it, is to push that pawn onwards, but that's not what's in the course above. The idea of capturing on c5 is to play knight c3 and pawn to e4, and this is quite an interesting idea because the pawn structure is now like a Sicilian. So we're going for quick development. We're getting open d file. Our pieces want to come out quickly here, but there's not really any theory on this variation. I mean, Mamajaros played it sometimes, but it's still quite early in its development. I was just wondering, actually, I was talking about knight to e4. Could I have played knight to e4 here? Why didn't I play knight to e4 here? This often happens when I'm streaming. I sort of just go a little bit too quickly. I mean, I maybe should have played knight e4 anyway and just come in here with a very good position. I don't know why I played e4. e4 is a normal idea, and this is an okay position, but I think that would have really caused black problems from move 4, funnily enough. So, okay. So I think now, a couple of options, and I think normal development can't be bad. So I'm going to put my knight on f3 and just try to get my minor pieces out, my knights and my bishops, and then I'm going to try to castle my king. I can go kingside if I want to be safe. If I want to try to be playing a more risky fashion, I can go queenside, which is a normal idea in the Sicilian. And really here what we got is kind of Sicilian without the theory. My opponent has to be a little bit careful. I'm not sure the knight here is a great square for a knight in these positions. And had he gone knight to f6, I would have had e5. And that would have attacked that knight straight away. So it's a bit tricky to get this knight. Black always has to worry about me pushing this pawn onwards. Oh, I hope that's not going to automatically move now. Thank goodness for that. Because, you know, with the knight here, he's not controlling this square. Normally the knight is on c6, so it controls e5. As I say, the knight here seems to be a little bit offside. So I now am thinking along the way that, okay, do I just develop by bringing a bishop out like this or like this? Or can I do something else? Maybe I can play e5. Now, a move such as b4 might be an option, but it will force my opponent's knight back. But I also, you know, making pawn moves weakens certain squares. And like, I won't be able to castle queenside if I move that pawn. So I'm only going to play this move if I can see a really good reason to do so. The way I'm thinking, really, is to develop this bishop first. So I'm not sure where the bishop on f1 wants to go. Now e5 here is also interesting, but then black might meet it by going d5. And he gets kind of a French defense structure. So I think I'll keep the threat of this e5 move, because again, if he moves his knight to this square, e5 becomes a tempo gainer, so he can't move the d5 pawn. So I want to keep the threat a little bit later there. Okay, bye Jobius. I'll see you again soon. So I don't know, there's many moves. Bishop c4, bishop f4, bishop g5. Now let's have a think. Now bishop g5 is quite aggressive, but after bishop e7, am I just helping my opponent? Let's have a think, because I can take there and then go knight to b5. Again, it can be very tactical, this already. I think I'm going to keep it simple and put the bishop here. It's like the simplest move. I mean, I don't really want to swap pieces here because black is a bit more cramped. These bishops don't have very good squares, but there was something to be said for bishop g5 and exchanging there, because then I get rid of one of my opponent's defenders of his weak pawn. The d6 pawn is his weak pawn because, as you can see, it's on a half open file, so I can gang up against that, maybe a queen d2, castles, queen d2, rook d1, and the bishop on f4 does a good job of attacking that pawn. And the other thing I'm waiting for is if knight f6, I can play maybe e5. Okay, quite an interesting question there, saying, why did I call this the Jobava London when I could have called it the GingerGM secret system? Well, I could have called it. I made that name up, the Jobava London. And I think, I'm quite happy that the first ever like video or book or anything on this system was done by me for GingerGM. I'm quite happy I did that. And I could have maybe called it yeah, you're right, but I mean, that would have been a bit of a sellout. And I was saying I don't like doing that, even if it does bring more sales in. I think Jobava was the main man who played it, and he deserves his recognition for it. Jobava probably played more games than any other top player, and for me, he was the guy who made that opening popular. Quite a modern development, so he deserves to have it named after him, certainly. Okay, so right, well, there's a couple of ideas now. My opponent is stopping a knight coming here, stopping a bishop coming here, so sensible move. And I'm now just going to go queen to d2. Now, is he going to go knight f6 and attack here then? So let's have a look. Queen d2, knight f6, e5. Knight e4, queen e3 looks okay. So I think this looks correct. Very easy development, because I want to put a rook here, either with castling or with not, because then I'm going to be threatening this pawn. So I think the opening has been a success already. This capturing on c5 is a very simple and dangerous way for white to play. Now, chess official says I got 4th place in Giesenberg Grand Prix, but would not have happened without the Jobava London system. Big thanks for making a chessable course. Without the Jobava, I would not have gotten so far in the tournament. Well, that's very, very kind of you to say. I don't want to take too much praise for your guys' good work. The opening is just one way to get in the game. And, you know, it is made, this course, to help you get a good opening and give you a good basis. But you've got to take the credit yourself. It was one thing getting maybe a comfortable opening, but then what you do with it. And it's over to you guys to do something with it. So I'm sure it's all your own hard work, rather, you know, more so than just having an opening. So well done yourself for having a good tournament. It's very nice to hear comments like that, you know, the things I make do actually help people out. I wonder if Simon played the Jobava against Jobava, would he win? Well, I wonder what would happen if Jobava played the Jobava against himself, Jobava, in a Jobava-themed tournament in Jobava World, and everyone was called Jobava. Who would win? I don't know. I'm going a bit crazy there. Okay, so there's some gift subs going in, are there? Very generous of you, Charlie. Coming out of my wages, that is. But at least, okay, if you brought the Jobava course, you deserve a sub. That's for sure. That's for sure. So very, very kind of you, Charlie. It was quite a funny idea. I was trying to convince some people to do, I don't know, maybe like eight years ago or something. Okay, anyway, I'll tell you the funny idea in a minute. So he's played here to attack this pawn. Now, my instinct is saying we play pawn on. If he takes here, I can take the queens off and I stop my opponent castling, which must mean I have at least slightly better position. If I go here and he throws a knight into the position, I'm thinking I can take it and play queen to e3, attacking the knight. Now, he might be able to then play d5 and get his knight stuck on that square. So that's probably my opponent's idea. So this move, knight to e4, is probably what black to play, which is actually a good idea. Knight takes here, knight takes, and then queen e3, d5. And he then has bishop c5 ideas. So this is actually quite a good idea my opponent has found. So I don't obviously have to play this move. I'm now thinking, because of this knight e4 move, which is a nice find from my opponent, I maybe just go bishop d3. I don't mind giving up this bishop because, as I said earlier, my opponent's bishops are not very good. So I can just play this move first, then try to play e5. I mean, I can also play queen e3 now, but knight there is a bit annoying. I might have to come back. So I'm either going to go bishop d3, completing my development. I don't mind losing bishops to knights. I quite like it, especially when I've got very good development, unless I can make e5 tactically work. So let's have a look. So if I go e5, I think he has to go knight in. Knight takes knight, knight takes knight. Looks like the logical way to play. And then, do I have a good move? Because my queen is attacked. Is there a better square? Well, queen here d5, queen here d5. So I don't know. It's a clever idea from Jen's chess. So I'm just going to play bishop d3 now. Nothing wrong with a simple developing move, because now this e5 move is always in the air. I mean, maybe I could have developed my pieces in a slightly better way. It does look like a weird Nyadolshan sort of position. It's like I say, it's a very interesting, unique Sicilian position you get. I mean, this opening. Jobava started playing it, I don't know, 10 years ago, made it popular. It's one of the only openings, the only opening I can think of that has really been born in modern times. Can you think of another opening that is so modern, that has only become, started being played at top level in modern times? Of course, people played this system with knight c3 and bishop f4 like 100 years ago, but only in the odd game without any really good ideas. But in the last 10 years, Jobava's found some very good ideas in this system, and I think that's very unique. So you're going to get positions which have never been played before, which is good. Yeah, so the funny idea I had, this is about 8 years ago. Well, I don't know, I thought it was funny at the time, but I was probably drunk or something. Okay, so my opponent's gone here. Now, my idea now is to play in a more positional way. And this is now like a Nyadolf. And I'm now going to try to control this square d5. So my opponent's knight controls the square. Things are going to get more positional now. So I'm going to go bishop to g5 because I want to get rid of any of my opponent's pieces that control. Because my main idea will be to play positionally and try to hold that square with one of my pieces. So get a knight to that square is my main idea long term. Maybe if I get a chance, I might take here, then move my bishop again, so my bishop controls that square more. But my opponent's playing, well, did Mark Hedman used to play something like this? He did. Mark played what's called the Barry. There's a lot of openings like the Jobava, but they're all slightly different for very subtle but massive reasons. Big differences. Little moves make big differences. It's like saying the Dragon Sicilian is the same as the Nyadolf Sicilian. No, they're not. They're two completely different openings. Anyway, back to my idea. So it was at the British Championships, and I thought, well, Mickey Adams keeps winning the tournament. And I thought, how can we make the arbiters' jobs and give ourselves a better chance in the pairing? And also, one thing I found tricky, by the way, here I just think I'm going to take this knight because it's all about this square, was I hate it when people in these big tournaments like the British Chess Championships, was one game a day, so many players were spending so much time preparing for you. So, and I didn't like this. I didn't like going to a tournament and spending 4 hours in the morning having to prepare because my opponents were doing it. I like preparing before a tournament. When I'm at a tournament, I want to relax more. But everyone does it. So I thought, how can we get rid of them being able to prepare against us? And I thought, okay, is that Chris? Is that the Chris Baker? Hello, Chris. How you doing, mate? Are you all right? How's your? If that is Chris Maserati Baker, which I've got to see soon. I hope you had a good time over there, anyway, Chris, and enjoyed yourself. So my idea was, anyway, going back to my idea at the British Championships, I was trying to, a month before or 2 months before, I wanted to get all the top players except for Mickey Adams. So everyone else, like all the other GMs, obviously is never going to work, and clearly I was drunk. All the other IMs, and I wanted to get them to change all their names to Michael Adams. So I wanted, therefore, when people turned up at the British Championships, the top 15 players all to have the same name. So, you know, just imagine it. You know, everyone's changed their name. You can change your name back after the tournament's over, but you know, all these players go to the tournament. Who am I playing? Who am I playing now? I'm playing Mickey Adams. Who am I playing? I'm playing Mickey Adams. Mickey Adams is just playing Mickey Adams on every board. You know, give yourself the same middle name. Everyone's got the same name. How much of a nightmare that would be. I don't know. It just, for some weird reason, it amused me. You know, okay, anyway, but I don't know, obviously never happened. Okay, now in this position, my opponent's now got another weakened square, but the reason he didn't want to take with a queen is that my knight would have come in and gained. So after here, I want to now control two of these outposts. Outposts are squares and generally in the middle of the board that can't be attacked by any pawns. So these two squares are outposts. And here, I'm going to control this one. My first thought is by bringing the knight here. So I want to try to get both of my knights into these squares. So I'm going to go knight here. And later on, try to get my knight to this square and my other knight to this square. This seems like a good idea. I can go there straight away. Just have to watch out for this move f5. I'm hoping I can just go knight takes pawn if he plays that. Chris Baker saying need to buy a few of your DVDs, Simon. I heard they're good. They are. Mark recommends. Yeah, well, I'll send them through to you, mate. They're digital download now, so if you just give me an email, simon@gingergm.com, I'll just send you whatever you want. Chris, who's a good old friend of mine, so he gets them for free, guys. Sorry about that. I've known Chris for like 25 years, and he was actually a coach for me at the Glorney Cup when I was 15, so I think he deserves a free DVD. Right, okay, so now there's no immediate threat. I mean, if I castle, is there anything to be scared about? f5, bishop takes, pawn takes. Can he get an attack? Nah. If I castle, he goes bishop here. Am I scared? Nah. I don't get scared that easily. I've got queen e3 attacking the bishop. So let's castle, I think. Probably going to find that's a big mistake, but I could have also castled this way, but I'm thinking this is actually better. Maybe I can go f4 and start an attack. And it's all about positionally controlling these squares. So I can also bring my queen here to control that one more. I can bring my bishop here to control that one. And if I can keep control of these two squares, his bishops are very bad, but especially this bishop here, you know, especially this one here. Okay, what was wrong with that idea of everyone changing their names? I thought it was quite a funny idea. I heard David Howe only likes to see the pairings 2 hours before the match, otherwise he can't sleep at night. A lot of players are like that. They don't want to think who they're playing before the day before, because you know. So you should never tell someone who they're playing at a big tournament in a big opening the day before. It might really upset them. There's a lot of etiquette you need to know. As an organizer, I would have just mentioned Mickey Adams, also known as, and ruining this well-planned approach. Yes, I mean, you know, it wasn't a perfect idea, but it just had some kind of reasonably, I don't know, sick thinking behind it, I guess is the right thing to say. Okay, my opponent's come up with a good idea. He wants to go here, which is attacking this square. So I could even put the bishop back here if I'm scared, but I don't think I should be scared. But he might want to go here and then bishop here. This is quite annoying. So I want to play super safe. G3, knight here, king here. Can you go bishop h6 then? Takes, bishop takes here. I hope he's muted the stream. Queen to this square. I'm a little bit scared there with this move coming in. I don't want to give him attack for free. It feels like my queen is on a bit of a funny square here. Now I could always go knight here and then just guard that one. That looks right, doesn't it? Of course, this is one of the squares I want to control. So let's bring the knight into this square. Now he can try to get rid of that with his bishop, which he probably should do. But then he will lose control of this square. His bishop can't control both of my outposts. The bishop can only control one at a time, either this square or this square. And if it controls this square, he loses that square. So I need to start thinking what I'm going to play after a move such as bishop to this square. Well, I might then play bishop c4 because I always want to take on this square with a piece. Why do I want to keep a piece on this square rather than a pawn? If you imagine my pawn moving to that square, I lose a lot of my positional advantages. For a start, he doesn't have a backwards pawn anymore that I can attack on a half open line because I will have a pawn in the way. That is the main one for these types of positions. Number two, I can't control this square with a piece anymore because I've got a pawn on that square. I mean, it's not the end of the world, but I always want to keep a piece on this square because he can never attack it. So if he does go bishop c6, I'll go bishop c4. And then if he takes there, I might even take with my queen. And then if he goes knight f4, I will take there. Okay, so he's now come to e4 with some... Okay, I've got to watch out. Always watch your opponent's move and think what he's trying to do. So he's trying maybe to play f5. And if I go knight takes, knight f3. So you've got to be very aware. So king h1 looks best. And if he goes f5, knight takes f5, bishop takes, pawn takes. I think I'm safe there because he can't get his queen here because I take it. So this must be correct because this is a dangerous idea my opponent's played and I want to step out of the way of any f3s. And here I've got, if I can just play c3, I'm doing well. So I've just got to watch out for tactics here. If I can avoid his tactics positionally, I'm much better because he has this very bad pawn structure. And my knights have some lovely outposts. This is what it's about, the outposts, stopping tactics. Okay, how old were you when you started playing chess? I started playing when I was about 6 years old. So I'm 40 very soon. Bloody hell. So 34 years I've been playing. It's quite a long time. And what else have we got? Let's have a look at the questions. Mickey and Chucky played a peaceful draw today. Okay. How drunk were you when you made the name proposal? I don't know. Probably very drunk. I wouldn't be surprised. For your chessball course as a beginner, should I go through every line or stick to the easier ones? Well, if you brought this course, what I'd recommend you do is go through it in the order it's in, really. Look at the main concepts first. Don't try and remember the moves, just remember the concepts. That's what I've done for the start of the DVD. I think that's very important. And then once you've done the concepts, go through. And I recommend you, if you're a beginner, I recommend the videos will help you greatly. Because in videos, I think it's much easier to explain and get the point across. So I'd say get the videos if you're a beginner. Okay, so rook g5. Now, I can go even f4 here if I want to, but I might just try to get rid of this knight first because it looks a little bit scary. Now, is he going to go here? Well, he might do, but let's ask his knight the question. This is the problem that he's got. He has not got an out. This is the difference between this knight and this knight. because his knight here is attacked, so it has to move. It's not an outpost, this square, but my knight cannot be attacked by one, so it is an outpost. Oh, he's getting some tactical ideas going. Very clever, or is it? So he wants some tactics. Okay, this could backfire. So for him, if I take here, is he going to go rook h5 and then take here? Even that I'm not worried about, because I have queen b4, rook takes here, and then queen takes here, threatening this one. So takes here, he has it discovered with his rook, but I think it's going to work out well for me. Rook here, queen here, rook takes here, queen takes here, and this threat is extremely strong on this threat. So I think he could be in trouble after this move. I mean, even if you're playing a positional game, tactics nearly always decide the game. And this is my idea now, because yes, he does win my knight, but the center of the board, look how strong this central knight is really good. Okay, more questions. I think it's worth giving people multiple unique IDs and keeping scoring secret. Yeah, I mean, it's preparation. If you're playing in tournaments, it is a big thing. If you talk to a lot of players, especially the old school players who just want to roll up to a tournament, they don't want to get by some horrible preparation. They would love to find a way to avoid it, but it's very hard to avoid. So I don't know what the answer is. Maybe there's maybe Vina the Great has interesting ideas there. I mean, give it a go. But preparation is part of every tournament. It is nowadays, but it's a pity. In the old days, before computers, before you could access information so quickly, you know, I think the fighting the chess was much more. It was many less draws and many more exciting games, in my opinion. But okay, maybe you know, you could argue that as well. You can turn 39 a couple of times until you're ready to accept your 40. Yeah, okay. Stop winding it up. The video course is much more expensive than the basic course. The video course is much more expensive, I agree. You can always upgrade at a later time. I mean, it's just if you're a beginner, I think it's easy to explain things in a video. But of course, it's much more expensive. You have to think, is it worth buying it now, which is only on sale for another couple more days, or do you leave it? You know, I don't. It depends on your finances, how serious about your chess are. You know, and that's it. If you're playing tournaments, I think you want to. You know, it's worth investing. But if not, don't worry about it. You know, up to you. I just, you know, I don't know. I don't want to make people go broke by buying the course. But if you want to learn a great opening, you've got the cash. Get it, man. I've also done a 1 hour free video, which Charlie has just done. So there you go. If you don't want to spend any money, follow the link there. I'll show you it. And I've done a 1 hour free overview of the opening, so you don't have to spend any money. It should come up in the chat now. And there you go. That's for all the cheapskates out there. Go and watch that 1 hour course and you'll understand the opening a lot better. But obviously there's only so much you can get in 1 hour compared to, you know, 2 hours, isn't there? Northern Lights background. It is indeed. Yeah, Jens was in serious trouble there. The Jobava London does it again. Okay. Oh, what happened there? That's not what we wanted, was it? I hope I haven't lost the game. We will have a look at the game in a second. Let me just get through the chats. Agree, had to relent and brought a 1.7 laptop today and chest-based package. Oh wow, Chris, you're splashing out, mate. You're splashing out. You'll have to show me in your, you know, your Maserati as well at some point. I think you have to take another trip at some point, definitely, mate. Well, I mean, if you want to take your chess seriously, sometimes you need, nowadays all the top players have chess base and good computers, but that's only, look guys, that's only if you're over 2200 really. You don't need to start investing vast amounts of money unless you're playing tournaments all the time. There's better ways to learn. Okay, and spend money and get the yeah, well, you got to spend a bit of money occasionally. Was Godalming named after God? That's a good question. Well, I don't know. I mean, that's where I live. It's a nice place. I don't think there's much of a God connection. Fancy 8th of November. Off the top of my head, that sounds good, man. Is that Friday, Chris? Is that Friday? Sounds good to me. Sounds good, mate. Yeah, I mean, let's sort it out. I mean, my 8th of November. Yeah, I think so. I don't see any reason why not. That sounds cool, man. I'll be working with Blair that day anyway, so it'd be good to see you again, always. So Atlanta Gambit says, when are you coming to the USA? Now, I tried that before and I got turned around at Detroit Airport. Long story, as in I had the wrong visa, and oh my god, I got all the way to Detroit. I was just doing a talk at a weekend, but I was very stupid. I was told by some people who said they're in the know, you just need a visa waiver, you can tell them you're just doing a talk, but it wasn't correct, and I should have checked it myself. Never take anyone's word for stuff, always double check. I got to Detroit Airport and they said, what are you doing here? I'm doing a talk. Oh, we're gonna have to interview. Got interviewed for hours. Then I got the next plane. Well, the next plane was about 12 hours later, so it was like, it took me 40 hours on planes, and you know, it wasn't much fun being questioned by customs. They were quite nice actually, because I think they thought I was Irish, so that was all right. You know, but yeah, so I went to the American Embassy again recently, and I got a 10-year visa, so I can go over. So maybe at some point I will come back to. Well, I've never been. I'd love to go. I'd love to go to America. Of course I would. Of course I'd love to go to America. Did I have to pay for the flight? No, I didn't have to pay for the flight back, so at least I got a free flight back. Just got the wrong visa, man. Silly me. I think the same thing happened to Grandmaster Luke Van Whaley and a couple of other people as well. So it's just you know. So yes, you know, I will try again. I love to go to New Orleans. I don't know about places to go to, but New Orleans sounds like fun. Cool, Chris. If you remind me by text or Blair, then we'll get that sorted, mate. I know what my memory's like. I might easily forget, you know, unfortunately. Did you get marched out by security guards? No, they were quite nice. I mean, they put me on the next flight. They were very nice. The people who questioned me afterwards, they realised I wasn't doing anything dodgy. It's just, if you're getting paid any money at all when you visit America, and I wasn't getting paid much even. That was a weird thing. I think it was a couple of $100 because I was doing some favour. A couple $100 for, you know, it's not much really, is it, for going to America? And that was kind of a gift. You know, so they were right. They just said, look, okay. They're even asking me where they should go, you know, the customs people, to start chatting to me. They were very nice. But anyway, come to New York, Simon. That was another place I'd love to go to. New Orleans, New York. Well, I mean, a lot of you guys are probably American. Where should I go? Tell me. Mississippi. I like the idea of New Orleans, but New York I'd love to go to as well. There's loads of good places in the world. Okay, anyway, let's have a look at this game. Thanks for the game of Jen's Chess, and let's see what we can learn from the game. So we're going to put it on the computer. Now, I don't think I played perfectly there, and my accuracy level was not very good even. Have a guess. What was my accuracy level? Charlie the Chess Cat says Seattle. Yeah, I mean, I know Charlie always wants to go to Seattle, but we're going to have to get you a cat visa for that one, aren't we, as well? So what was my accuracy level there, guys? It wasn't that high. I don't think, it wasn't a great game, but I sometimes do. I'm just going to put this on the computer now. Disagree with what the computer says. Okay, 86.6. Not a great accuracy, but let's see. So, now, it says this is inaccurate, but I disagree with that I disagree with that a lot. Now, simply the computer is wrong, in my opinion here. And I've mentioned this move in the course. You can disagree with computers. They don't know the book very well. This has been played by Mamajarov, by other 2,800 players. And I think it's a simple move to play. Yes, I do need to get, another visa. You're right, Charlie. Now, d5 is, of course, the main line here. And this should be a bit better for white, this position. But I honestly think this is a very interesting option. And black has a number of ways to go wrong here. For example, in this position, if black goes bishop takes pawn, which I think a lot of people will play, then knight to e4 is already just a nice advantage a nice advantage to white. Doesn't matter what this computer says, you're going to get the two bishops. I mean, it even reckons this is even, which I don't agree with, because in this kind of position, maybe with some line like this, the two bishops, especially this bishop, which has great potential on the dart squares, is really going to give white a very nice game. It's an open position. Look at these dart squares. Look at these dart squares. This is clearly very nice for white. So sometimes you've got to have your own opinions, of course. But knight to a6 does seem like a very slow move. And here, I think I played, maybe here I was thinking I should go knight to e4. This was the other interesting option. Lost in this variation as black in Holland in the 90s. I thought I was showing my age, Chris. Well, this is what I've just done a course about, Chris, which I'm trying to plug at the moment, the Jobava London system. And guys, if you're interested in learning this more, it is a 10-hour video course, and here's a link to the shop while it's on sale for only a little bit more time. So, you know, this is where you can get it 50% off. It's quite a popular line nowadays, Chris, actually. But I don't know, was this the right move? Maybe I should have played this one, with the idea just coming into d6. And again, the computer doesn't think this is much of an advantage for white. It says it's an inaccuracy. But let's just go a little bit further and see if it's right. Knight takes c5, knight d6 check looks really horrible for black. And it thinks this position is equal. It thinks it's even a little bit better for black. Is the computer mad? Queen e7, bishop f4. I mean, look at the dart squares. How can it think? How can the computer think that black's okay here? Really? It really and it thinks f6 here. I mean, come on, computer. You're mad. And it even I don't know. I mean, maybe it's right, but I'm very surprised. Oh, you lost. Okay, so Chris lost with the knight e4 move. Well, there you go. Yeah, it's a tricky little line, this one. Let's not always believe the computer. I don't believe the computer here. I don't believe it. But anyway, what I played is also okay, because this is a simple move, and it's like a Sicilian now, except black's knight on c5 is badly placed. It's badly placed. 15, yeah, you're probably right there. PSG soccer rook. Black did have the centre, but white had the bishop on this very nice d6 square. I don't know. I find that hard to believe, Sarab. Maybe, but I don't necessarily. I'd have to look at that more of a stronger computer. Okay, now after knight takes c5, knight to f3 is obviously a good move. It develops a piece. Now d6 must be best. The problem is, if some move like this, you've always got e5. And black is getting into trouble here. So black has to try and control this square. And now this is where I had a couple of opportunities to play different moves. This move, it says, is best. The other move I was thinking about playing was bishop g5. With the idea of bishop here, of taking this one off. And now trying some move like this. But maybe this is not working because there's always a knight takes e4. And it's quite hard to get rid of this knight. So, okay, so my instinct was probably all right. And bishop f4 is just a good developing move. You can see already, well, now it says white's a lot better, so it's quite strange. So now a6 is best to stop my knight coming there, or bishop, which could be quite nasty. I can believe that. And it thinks this is a mistake. Very strange, eh? Maybe it was. So what did it think was a better move than this? Bishop e2. I mean, bishop e2 is hardly a +1 advantage, is it? I suppose the point behind this move is actually quite subtle, though. And the point behind this move is that if knight to f6 here, then
sorry, wrong one.
Okay, then now we can go pawn to e5 in this position. And there's no knight to e4 attacking the queen. So this is kind of a subtle waiting move here. A subtle waiting move in this position. Okay, so I don't think queen d2 is that bad, though. I mean, it's a sensible move. Now, knight f6, and the point here is if I play here now, my opponent had a very clever idea of going here. Then I wanted to play here, but I had forgotten that black has d5 and now bishop c5. And I can't get an advantage here at all. Hello, Oliver Nee. And of course I am reading the comments here, as I've just said hello. And I've just been talking to people in the chats as well. And you don't have to be a VIP, but I prefer it if you are, because it means I get more cash. So do tune in if you need to. Okay, so in this position, bishop d3, maybe it's not a big advantage here, and now e5, good. Okay, fair enough. Let's have a look then. Bishop here, and black has to be very careful. Bishop d7, and now maybe this was a better idea, but again, after knight d5, very nice knight I've got there, so I've definitely got good chances of advantage. This pawn takes could be very risky, because now I have these ideas of getting my knights to these good squares here. Rook g8 is best. Castles is okay. So I'm playing apparently some excellent moves. Knight to e6 is good, and now this still looks very horrible, and the knight here didn't actually do anything. This is maybe what we can call a bit of a superficial idea, with bishop b4 or bishop c5 to come. Yeah, that's right, GingerGM. It was a good idea. I suppose I just think this position is a little bit easier for white to play always. That's the problem. Maybe e5 was a bit premature and b5 should have been played, GingerGM, but this knight d4 looks a little bit superficial, because as long as I avoid this trick, your knight's not on a very good square. And I think now you can see the advantage, and I start to believe the computer around here, over 2 pawn advantage is quite serious for you here. You know, I think it's probably too late now. And after c4, well, I did say f4 was maybe even better, but it made sense. And this is now obviously losing, because in this position black can't stop the knight coming here or the knight coming here to one of these 2 squares. So black is going to be losing. And you wanted to stop my knight coming to f5. Yeah, I can see that's the idea, but the problem is c3 is always coming, gens, and I think you're going to have to lose another tempo moving that knight to a bad square. But I think it was a tough position by then, I say, gens, because unless you get some tactics along the g file, and you've only got one piece attacking along the g file, I don't think positionally you're doing very well, because of these 2 squares, mainly the two central squares. So that is hello. Andy is Yoda, and anyone else who's joined in the chat as well. Okay, let's get rid of this screen. Right, now I think what I'll do now, guys, is I'm just going to play a bit of Blitz now. So let's do it. Let's play a bit of Blitz. I'll take on, if you're a subscriber, come on, I'll take you on if you're a subscriber to this channel. And I've actually got another show at 5 o'clock for Chess Base, which I just need to do a bit more preparing for. So I'm going to actually end the stream in about 20 minutes, so I can just finish off my preparation for that. But it's nice. I'm going to be streaming tomorrow at 10 AM. Can you believe it? I'm streaming at 10 AM tomorrow. So I'll see you nice and early tomorrow, that's for sure. And then, is it Halloween? I'm going to be streaming on Halloween as well. So I'm doing the next 2 days. So if you want to play against me, is there a DVD on how to play against d4 and knight to c3? Oh, right, yeah. Well, GingerGM, there might be. Here it is. If you guys want to buy it. I mean, the other thing with this, you know, I am touting it, as you can tell, is that the course without the videos is not too expensive. I think it's $30. I think there's also a free one, so if you don't want to buy it, you can check out that one there, 1 hour free one. You don't have to spend money. Okay, who wants to play then? Who wants to play me? Who wants to play me? Anyone? No one wants to play. Come on, someone must want to play me. No one wants to play me. Is that what you're saying? I haven't got anyone who wants to play me. So tell me, if you want to play me, you've got to be logged into chess.com and tell me now in the chat what your handle is. Tell me what your handle is. Life is rough. I sent too many challenges. I'd rather play subs, but if we don't get that, I'll take on anyone else. So does anyone who's subscribed to my channel, this Twitch channel, want to play me? They should get some benefits. If not, Atlantic Gambit, I did say I'll play you, but I think can you make it a quicker time limit now, Atlantic Gambit, because I don't have time to play a long play game. So 3-minute game or 5 minutes, all we're going to be playing. Let's play some quick chess. So Atlantic Gambit, I will play you if you re-challenge me at a quicker time limit. And anyone else, just challenge me on chess.com. You can see what my name is. Here it is, Ginger_GM. Just challenge me and I'll play some of you at chess. Okay. Well, Atlantic Gambit, 5-minute. Let's do it. So, and try to make it unrated, guys, as it's a stream. You can make it rated if you want. I'm not that bothered. Okay, so Atlantic Gambit. In we go. In we go. So, what am I going to do against this one? Well, I think we're going to go for the Sicilian. We just saw me play against the Sicilian structure. Now, one of my favourite openings in the open Sicilian, this is the open Sicilian, is the Dragon. I always think the Dragon is very popular at like club level, you know, like at lower level. And do you know why I think this is such a popular opening at club level? I think it's so popular because of the name. I mean, you know, if you want to play an opening, is there a cooler name than the Dragon? You know, the Bruce Lee, Enter the Dragon. There's not any better name than the Dragon, is there? So I think that's why when you're a kid, I mean, do you want to learn something like the Berlin? I mean, I'm sure Berlin is a cool place. Or what's a really boring name? What opening has the most boring name? Anyone? I don't know the answer to that. But what opening has the most boring name? Make a DVD on the Dragon. I already have. Go to the GingerGM shop. I've got 2 DVDs on the Dragon. The Monkey's Bum is not a boring name. The Fried Liver, that's not a boring name. The London System. Yeah, I suppose so. I mean, would you rather buy a DVD called The London System or a DVD called The Dynamic Dragon? I mean, if I was a kid, I'd be like, I'm not buying the bloody London System. I want to be a dragon. Give me the Dragon. You know, give me the Dragon. The French defence, that's quite boring as well. Raul Lopez. Well, at least it's a bit exotic sounding, the Raul Lopez, isn't it? It's a little bit exotic sounding. It's not that exotic, but, you know, a little bit. What else? The Petrov. We're not talking about how boring the opening is, just how boring the name is. The Petrov is a bit of a boring name, isn't it? Okay, so I think I'm a little bit better here because I have pressure on the B file. Generally, my opponent taking on C6 is not a move which is considered to be a good idea. So if we go back to this position here, when my opponent takes here, this is considered to be a mistake because it improves my pawn structure and I have a very nice huddle of pawns there. So I was quite happy to see that one. Black Lion is a cool name. And now this is a bit of you don't really want to defend like this, do you? So, okay, but it's still a lot of play left in the position. So, what am I trying to do here? I'm thinking about just playing e6 because then maybe I can support d5. And also, if he plays here, I can open up some lines. And I'm hoping opening up lines helps me because his rook is out of play. So I'm kind of playing with an extra rook. And bishops work better on the more the position opens up. So you can see the more open it becomes, the more we get rid of the pawns, the better the bishops become. And I have an extra bishop. So I'm just thinking very logically about what to do. And also this rook is really badly placed here. I mean, it's very, very passive, so I don't think that's in a good position at all. Hello to Morpheus. Hello, Morp. How are you doing today? You doing well, Morp? You doing all right? Okay, so he's going here, and he wants to take this way, which is fine. I'm going to take that one off, and I'm just going to go and try to control the open file with my pieces. So this looks all right. The French defence is a snooze fest. Not sure I totally agree with that one, but you know, each their own. Okay, so now I am going to go rook here with a back spanker. And I'm going to start using this big pawn here. This is another problem with my opponent's pawns over here. They're a little bit funnily placed. And in an ending, this will be very good. So maybe I should just go for an ending because The ending is going to be much simpler for me because I have 2 bishops, I have open file, and I have a passed D pawn. So I have lots of good things. And if you've got simple advantages, there's no point. You want to make it as simple as you can. And these are tricky pieces. So let's try to get rid of the queens. Okay, you won another game in the Jobava London. It's catching on, Morp. The opening is crushing everyone, yeah? Good stuff. Well done, Morp. I'm glad it's working well for you. I'm happy to hear that. The orangutan, that's quite a cool name. You should have named your course. Oh, have I just blundered? I think I've just blundered, guys. Brilliant, Simon. Brilliant. I totally forgot about that. He could do that now because he has the H2 square. Oh, anyway, maybe it's okay. That was silly. You know, so I could lose this one. I could lose this one because now I have to give up my queen. Now I might have a quite good compensation here anyway, but I quite like queens because I don't really want to give up my queen. So let's go here, weaken his king a little bit. Gonna have to start really concentrating now, and let's think what my opponent's next move might be. Well, he hasn't got too many ideas, has he? Probably has. Good move from my opponent. Now I want to go here. Is that right though? He might take here, and then I'll take here. Let's try this one out. I'm actually in some danger of losing. What I'll add, if you do beat me, I'll give you a free DVD from GingerGM shop. There you go. Let's inspire you. So if you beat me, you can get a free DVD. So there you go. Come on, Atlanta. If you beat me, you get £20 worth. That's about $25 of stuff from me. I'll make that for everyone. Mikek, hello there. As well, for anyone new in chat, this is chess. Yeah, thanks for your logical deduction, Sherlock. Well done, Sherlock. No shit, Sherlock. No shit, Sherlock. Okay, so it still looks like even though I blundered my queen, I might be doing okay here because my bishops are very strong and this pawn is very strong. So even though I've blundered my queen, I might be doing all right. So let's take that knight off the board. And now, if he allows this pawn to get here, I must be winning. So I think he's got to take on c3. Oh, I don't think he can do this, can he? What if I just take here now? How is he going to stop me queening? And my king is very safe on g7 because my bishop guards all the squares and my bishop is defended by the rook, so that could be the losing blunder. I don't think I'm going to need to flag him. I think I'm very safe here. My king is very safe, and this is going to be Queen Town, as Danny Wrench would say. Welcome to Queen Town. Yes, indeed. Well, I've spent a lot of time in Brighton, so you certainly know what that's all about. Okay, thank you for the game, Atlanta Gambit. You kind of had me on the edge there. You're probably doing all right. Yeah, you. Oh man, I think you got a bit nervous, didn't you? This is, you know, it's tough. You got a bit nervous there, Atlantic Gambit. A little bit nervous. A little bit nervous. Okay, right. Next up then. So who is next up? Let's see who else wants to play. Okay, so just remember, tell me now what your handle is, please. So if you've got a challenge against me, I want to know. Okay, your handle on chess.com. I've got a lot of challenges, but I want to know your handle. You play well there, Atlantic Gambit, especially when you trap my queen. Nasty. What is your handle? I get way too nervous when I play a GM. Okay, so I'm going to take on subscribers more. So Black Spock, have you got a... I can't see. Oh, yes, you have. Okay, Black Spock, let's go. Come on, Black Spock, let's do it. So you know what opening I'm going to play, and there's only one. There's only one Jobava. There's only one Jobava. There's only one Jobava. Okay, now if you've watched my streams, I've been streaming now 5 days in a row, which is quite a lot for me. You'll know that this position here has turned up in many a stream. And black should certainly not allow this move e4. A better move in this position, e6, I believe, is a mistake. In this position, black has to stop this e4 move. Black should play pawn to d5, as I talk about in my Dutch course. Now, after bishop e7 here, I have some tempting options. Tempting. So which one should I go for? Which one shall I go for, boys and girls? Shall I take and push? Oh, so many moves, so little time. Should we just take here? Let's just take this one off and decide in a minute. Let's do it. Let's just do it. And let's just develop a piece. Because, you know, we'll decide in a minute. I'm too lazy to decide now. Jerry has subscribed with Twitch Prime. Thank you, Jerry. Is that Mungo, Jerry? Or just Jerry? Okay, so my opponent's played a good move. This is a good move. And maybe my opponent is okay here. It's not the most exciting of positions, but again, in the long play game, we were talking about outposts, and there is an outpost. Oh, my opponent's gone sacking. I'm not going to let you do that. I like knights, especially when I've got outposts. So I'm happy to swap off on c6 here. You haven't pushed Harry in a long time. I'm giving Harry a break. He's petitioned me not to push him for a while because he's so sick of dying, poor old Harry, that he says, look, man, can you just give me a holiday? Can you just stop sacrificing me, please? I've given my life for you so many times. This is how you repay me? This is how you repay me? You just give me up and give me up and give me up again? So I've decided, like, you know, poor old Harry. Poor old Harry. We want to give the poor guy a break. Now, I could take this one, couldn't I? But I'm going to instead tempt him into taking me, because that keeps his bishop blocked in. So positionally, I'm just playing for an outpost like we did in a long play game. And that is the outpost I'm going for, this square here, with my pieces aiming to come in. Chess Network, Jerry. The legend that is Jerry. He kind of started off all the video thing in the first place, didn't he? He didn't. He was a legend. Legend status. Okay, so now I'm thinking I could go queen e2, or I could just go queen somewhere and try to double my rooks. Let's do that one. That looks quite nice. I just keep defending this one, and I want to go rook e2 and rook e1. Rooks deserve to be on open lines, and I'm going to try to put both my rooks on an open line. And now I'm going to get a little bit more greedy. I didn't want to lose this pawn here because it keeps his bishop trapped in, but I'm very happy to win that one there because that's a more important pawn for me to attack. And I also create some good threats here. Yeah, chess work, Jerry is a legend. There's too many legends in the chess world, aren't there? Too many legends. Okay, so my opponent, is he trying to do something to me? Well, let's play a tricky little move. Let's set up some nasty ideas like knight e7, double check. That's one idea. Or knight takes c7 check. Or knight to f4 check. There's a lot of checks. Lots of checks here. Hello, Blazerow. Hope you're doing all right there. I hope you're. I heard you're one of the only streamers to have beaten an American in a stream. So I certainly haven't, and Lawrence Trent certainly hasn't either. So well done, sir. Okay, now I'm gonna try. Now, of course, I could take that pawn, but I wanna go for a nice sort of. I want to go for the king rather than grabbing pawns. So let's just bring all my pieces into it. Tango Charlie says, I went to see the Cult last night. Superb. Well, the Cult, I actually saw, what's the lead singer of the Cult? I remember I went to see the Doors when Ray was still alive, but obviously Jim Morrison wasn't alive. So they had the whole band there except for Jim Morrison. And the guy from the Cult, forgotten his name now. The guy from the Cult was the lead singer, and he was fantastic. He was absolutely brilliant as Jim Morrison. Really, really good singer. I can't remember his name now though. Ian Astonbury. Is that it? And what's their song? Oh God, I keep playing it. Oh, what's their most famous song? The Cult's most famous song. Oh, do remind me. I play it in the car all the time. What is it? Oh no, I'm gonna have to Google this now. I love the song. So let me just do a little Google. It'll come up with it. Oh, She Sells Sanctuary. Of course. If you haven't heard that song, that is a brilliant song. Oh, you gotta hear that song. She Sells Sanctuary. Absolutely one of the best songs ever written. Did they play it? I always get the Cult, the Cure, and the Clash mixed up. Yeah, well, they're all good bands. All those ones you just mentioned there, the Cult, the Clash, and yeah, She Sells Sanctuary. That's the most famous song, isn't it? Oh, I'm not sure you wanted to do that, Mr. Spocky. There may be a problem with that square. Can any? Yes, okay. Well, I'm gonna be greedy and grab that baby, grab it. Dun, 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 dun. No, is that it? No. There you go. That's me singing the Cult. I'm sure you wanted to hear that. Yeah. Did they? They were good. They were good, Tango Charlie. Good to hear. Nicely done. Okay. Thanks to the game, Black Spock, unlucky there, and you actually, what I said was a very bad opening, you fought pretty well there, and obviously it just got a little bit tricky when I managed to take the pawn on d5, so as soon as I take this one, things are a bit tricky for you here, aren't they? Thank you for the game though. Right guys, now I'm going to have to call it a day today because I have other work I need to do. A chess-based show. I think you can actually watch the chess-based show, which I'm going to do in half an hour. It's a bit more serious, my chess-based show, and what I was going to do it on is some highlights from the European Team Championships, and I'm just doing an hour show, but I need to just do a little bit more work on that, hence why I need to stop the stream here. There's somewhere on the web you can watch it, but I don't actually know the address. I'm sure if you can find it yourselves as much as I can find it, so I'll let you guys, if you want to watch it, find it somewhere. Don't miss your chess-based stream. No, I won't do. I'm going to go and do that now. So anyway, I'm back tomorrow at 10 a.m. It is now 4:30 p.m. So that's quite a long time ago. That's like 6.5 hours before now. But I thought I'd get a stream done in the morning, so it's probably the only time I can do it. So I hope to see some of you then, and then I'll be back on Halloween. There's some more times below, and remember the course above is only on sale for another 3 days. So if you want to get this course on the Jobava, let me just give you a link and you can check it out. Or if you don't want to pay any money, then there is a free 1 hour course there where you don't have to pay any money. If you want to learn this opening, there's a couple of ways you can do it. Cheers everyone, and I'll see you soon. I don't think it'll be a 12-hour stream on Halloween, gents. I've got too many horror films I want to watch. I love Halloween. I love a bit of horror, but I'll do a little bit. Don't you worry. Were you wearing your Halloween costume early? That's a bit nasty, Blazer, right? You saying I've got my scary Halloween face on? I'm scaring the kids? Maybe. Anyway, cheers everyone, and I'll see you soon. Better get ready for my next bit of work. Goodbye for now.